The MARCIA Week Show. It's the MARCIA Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the MARCIA Week Show. It's the MARCIA Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the MARCIA Week Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. Hey, we growing, we know it.
Yo, this one for the people. Not the party, not the power, not the few. We flying blue, gold and black, always true. Stand up, Barbados. This is your fight too. They came with smiles and the Bible of change. Talk about transparency, but now it's all strange. Pirate tape laws with no oversight. Penalties heavy if you don't show up right. Secret deals signed in executive rooms. No foyer, no integrity. Just doom. Millions spent, no watchdog in the yard. All they toss shots, but they playing it hard. Rising tides won't take what they steal. The people are restless, so can't you feel? Truth on the rise and we won't be silent. Voices of the many, yeah, we're getting violent. Stand up for your rights, for the freedoms. One in struggle and fight. Green or blue, yellow, orange or red. The only flag we wave got the sun overhead. United we stand, divided we fall. Barbados belongs to one and all, not to a party or an oligarch's game. We are the craftsmen of our faith. They talk about love, 230 deep, but power makes promises they don't keep. Backroom negotiation, a political game. While the people suffer, they're chasing their fame. We passing the mic, sharing the pain. Each story a shout. We won't go in vain. From the south to the north, we taking a stand. With unity and pride, holding hands across the land. Create a new vision. Rise from the ashes in the heart of our people. We'll turn up the flashes. Stand up for your right, for the freedoms. One in struggle and fight. We not blue, yellow, orange or red. The only flag we wave got the sun overhead. United we stand, divided we fall. Barbados belongs to one and all, not to a party or an oligarch's game. We are the craftsmen of our faith.
Hear the cries of the youth, hear the elders call. Don't let the system make us feel small. Together through music, through rhythm and rhyme, we'll carve out a world where justice will climb.
So let's rise like the sun, illuminating our way, with truth as our armor, justice in play. Barbados, we're here, we're claiming the light. Stand up, embrace the power tonight.
Hear the cries of the youth, hear the elders call. Don't let the system make us feel small. Together through music, through rhythm and rhyme, we'll carve out a world where justice will climb. So let's rise like the sun illuminating our way, with truth as our armor, justice in play. Barbados, we're here, we're claiming the light. Stand up, embrace the power for God. So let's rise like the sun, illuminate our way. With truth as our armor, justice in play. Barbados, we're here, we're claiming the light. Stand up, embrace the power tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to the MARCIA Week Show. And we're coming to you from where? Where is this? Where is this? Blue, yellow, and black, put it up. Blue, yellow, and black, put it up. Where is it? Barbados, and it's blowing in the wind. Oh my goodness, can you hear me? Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. We're trying a brand new system. And I want to know if you're hearing me, Listen, Barbados. That's where we're coming to you live from. Oh my goodness, people are putting up the flag and they said they're hearing me loud and clear. Is it clear? Make sure it's clear. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Tonight is a great, great night. Yes, 246. 246. Yes, all the way. 246. Tonight, guys, on the MARCIA Week Show. Welcome to the MARCIA Week Show, where we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. And tonight we are saying and reminding us, all of us, no opposition in Parliament. If you're watching from a different island, you would have known we just had an election and we have no opposition in Parliament. So tonight, the citizens are asking the questions. Minister Chris Sinckler, he presented the estimates of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. But with no opposition, many of the hard questions were never asked. So he just made a speech. No hard questions asked of him. This is exactly why they wanted Mr. Thorne not to be there. But if you will work with me and the team and the panelists that we have here on the Marcia Week Show, we will ask the hard questions. So tonight we ask them on the show. We will also examine education proposals from Minister Chad Blackman. What do they really mean for our children? We're going to look at some of these proposals. I mean, now they are talking about keeping the common entrance, but they are talking about a continuous assessment leading up to the exam. What do you think about that? Now, we're going to also talk about the resignation of RALPH Thorne from the Democratic Labour Party as president. I need to say that. Resignation of RALPH Thorne from the presidency of the Democratic Labour Party. We're going to look at the legacy of his leadership and what foundation he leaves behind. And I have to tell you this story from Trinidad that I don't know if it could really happen in Barbados. Would you believe there's a senator in Trinidad who's publicly disagreeing with his own government on Iran? Could that happen in Barbados today? He's sharing his private opinion. That's interesting. We don't really see much of that in Barbados. We want to just show you that a little bit and just comment on that. And then we really need to ask the big question of Steve Blackett. Steve Blackett, did you receive a government appointment immediately after elections? I think the people need to know. The people need to know because FOD has one seat in the Senate as in the opposition, and we want to make sure, as the citizens, we want to ensure that it's not compromised. We don't know, sir. So that's why I'm asking you the question. And then we see the Speaker of the House giving a warning about a chronic problem with time. What does that say about governance and accountability? We're going to talk about that. This is our money, our business, our country. You call in, I want you to speak out, ask the questions Parliament didn't. Tonight. So we're looking forward to everybody to call in. You know the number, 236-7000. 236-7000. Yes? Okay, wonderful one. Well, let me go ahead and greet everybody who is joining us tonight. Who are those joining us tonight? Judy Jukes. Hey, Judy, you're the first to join. It's a pleasure to have you, Judy. Annette, hi, Annette. Mavis Lashley. Teroni, how are you doing, Teroni? Angela Burke. Queen D46, Ronald Archer, Bajan Boy, Shirley, Angela. Hey, Carol, Andrea Critchlow, Lucinda is at prayer in the mornings too. Lucinda, wow. I'm a big girl too. Hey, I'm a big girl. M. Gardner. Beverly Perscott, Angela Bab, how are you? Angela B, not Bab. Oh, wow, Cami, Andrea. Oh, wow, Shirley. I have to send you a message, Shirley. Diana, husbands, Patricia, Sonia Perch. Hey, Jackie. I can call her Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Hey, girl, Jackie. Marcia, my namesake. Filipino, big time. Play child. Oh my lordy. Oh, it's an honor to be here with you tonight. Sandra Pierce. Yes, Emma. Emma is what we do here. Yes, Patricia. Marcia Ford, another Marcia. I think I said Sandra Pierce again, so I'll welcome her twice. Sugarcane King. A girl from Brooklyn called Vihoy. Hey, Vihoy girl. Diana Husbands. Queen D46, Cecilia Miller. How are you, Cecilia? I trust you're well. Michael Gilks. Sherry Berry. Sherry Berry, I think you're on in the prayer in the mornings as well. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 5 a.m. You should have seen us up this morning early. We're praying for you, you know. My name is Victorious. I love it. I love it. Hi, Ian. Sup, bread? Who is sup, bread? Calendar. Hey, Monica. Hey. Guys, it's a pleasure having you all tonight, and it's joyful, really, to just sit there and go through all the names, and I feel like I know every single one of you. And I want to say to you, thank you for joining. Really, really thank you for joining. It is so, if I come on and you're not there, what's the point, right? So I so appreciate you joining tonight, and I'm hoping that we will move from just joining and that you're going to call in. We're going to have a segment there at 9 o'clock where you can call in, and we're going to discuss the resignation of Mr. Thorne. He was an integral part of this show because we echoed whatever he said in Parliament. And, and he would come on at different times, etc. We want to look at some of what he's left behind. And I would love for you to call in. Let's have some different voices calling in. Thank you, Dave, so much. Let me just say that the luncheon, the luncheon to honor the candidates, the DLP candidates sold out. Yes? Hey, Bajan Eagle, good to see you. Pedro, good evening, and M. Hoyt. Listen, no more tickets. No more tickets for this. It is gone. Sold out. All we are taking right now is if you want to donate, so we can do something. You know the loyal opposition. You know how we do things. So we want to do a little something special, something special for them. And if you want to get in the do with that, and you want to give a donation towards that, you're free to call us 236-7000 and donate, right? We want to make them feel really, really special. Really, 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 really special. When we listen to what happened in Parliament. And the way they trash these individuals is like they were not Bajans because they're on a different team and hold a different view. Yeah? And so we want to say we celebrate you. And we make a difference in Barbados. That's what we do. And so, yes, Shirley, that's great. That's great. I think people are going to be so disappointed. We still had a long list of people. We tried to get the establishment to give us some more seats. They could not. So I'm so sorry for those. I have to call and to let them know, no, not this time around. Really sorry about that. Really sorry. Dave, we do have, we want to talk about Maturu. We still have not made the target for Maturu. And we want to talk about that, but we have a video and we're going to just let the video do the talking.
The Maturu Primary School in Western Kenya is home to 700 children ages 3 to 13. These children face an uphill battle, not just with their studies, but with hunger. Join us as we partner with the Maturu Primary School in launching the Maturu Primary School Feed-In Program. This initiative is designed to provide every child with a bowl of hot porridge each morning before classes begin for just 25 USD per year. You can help to make a difference by providing breakfast to a child, ensuring that they start the day with the energy and focus they need to learn. Together, we can be the change that we want to see, one bowl of porridge at a time.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so very, very much. And I just want to reiterate that and thank those that have given so far. Some people say, they say to me, Marcia, well, we do have a lot of children in Barbados that need breakfast, to go to school. And you know what? We can share it among them all. I think just a small donation goes a really long way in Kenya. It doesn't cost as much to do the breakfast in Kenya as it even costs here. So, any donation, I think it's good. It's good that sometimes we might have needs, but then we reach out and we can be a blessing to somebody else. All right. So look at that wonderful face. How are you going to say no? Again, you just need to message me and we'll pass on all the information. And we're planning, I know Dave is working with them and we're planning to get some of the, like the principal and the chairman of the board of the school on the show. So you will hear from them and to see how the program is really benefiting the children. I also have my book on Amazon, which you can find on my website. All right, my website, I do have a website. Don't forget my website. It's the MARCIAweekshow.com. And here it is. We have the book. This is my book, and all the proceeds of this book go towards the children in Kenya, Maturu children in Kenya. So I'm going to ask you again, buy a book. And thank you for those who have been buying the books. We really appreciate that. Thank you. It's going to make a great read. And I promise you, one of these nights, we are going to start a book study. I think I feel like I said that wrong. But we're going to use this book and go through it as we did Animal Farm, right? As we did Animal Farm. And yes, if anybody out there, you have your book already, let me know if you got your book. And on the Marcia Week Show on our website, you can also find articles there as well on the Marcia Week Show website. There are articles, there are blogs that are there on the different topics that we do each evening. And so you can go there and read. And if you want to submit an article, feel free to go there and submit an article. Right there, read the newsletter. It's right there on the MARCIAweekshow.com. And you can go there, and just indicate that you want to submit an article. If you want to donate to the Marcia Week Show so that we can, get better equipment. I want to thank, all of those, Michelle, and all of those in the diaspora that who have been trying to make sure that we have, better equipment, etc. I want to thank all of them, everybody who's been helping. And you can go to the MARCIAweekshow.com as well to find out how you can give, how you can support us. That's the page there. Dave, you have the supporting us page. So that's the page there. And if Dave goes back up, if he goes back up to the top, we'll be able to see where it talks about how you can become a supporter of the page. And yeah, right there on the MARCIA. Yeah, just right there on the MARCIA Week show. Yes, and yeah, you can go and support us right there so that we can continue what we're doing in excellence. All right. Very, very important. Very, very important. We also have a company before Miss Felicia Dujon. Felicia Dujon is going to join us very soon, but just before she joins us, there's a company there, Dave, that does tutoring. I believe we have a proper ad for them. Thank you so much, Dave. Personal Touch Language Services. All right. And again, just so you know, nobody pays me to do this. Or no, pays the MARCIA Week show, pays any of the panelists. I think I probably met this lady once, probably. But she's, always watching the show, and she's trying to help herself. Personal Touch Language Services, personalized tuition for children and adults, reading, spelling, grammar, and other language difficulties. Learning channel challenges, primary syllabus, common entrance, CXC. Listen, you could get some of everything here. Foreign language, French, Spanish, beginners, CXC conversational, professional writing and editing, business correspondence, website reports. Oh my goodness, speeches, letters, brochures, flyers, magazines, letters, translations. They do it all here. And Dave, if we scroll up, we could see the number at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. The number is right there. Go ahead, guys, and take a screenshot and support our own. We are supporting our own. Support our own. That's the name there, Rosemary Lane at hotmail.com. The number 435-7201. 435-7201. All right. And go ahead and ring her up and sign up the children. Yes. And let's get cracking. Oh, wow. That is wonderful. Thank you all so very much for supporting her. And we will continue to showcase businesses, people who are doing their very best in Barbados, given the situation that we're in. I want to say, how many of you have been listening to Chad Blackman in Parliament? Anybody's been listening to Chad Blackman in Parliament? Rosemary Allen saying good evening. That's her company that we just highlighted. And she's normally here. It is so interesting. I mean, when you look at just look at the views on Parliament. The views have dropped. The views have dropped because it's extremely boring. Why are we listening? Nobody's challenging them. Nobody's asking them any questions. Yeah? Yeah, it's a complete waste of, you feel like it's a waste of your time. But the thing about it is that, you know what? They're making big changes and you have to listen. You have to find a way to listen. You know what I do? I go and read the transcript on YouTube because I don't even want to hear them sometimes. I'm being honest. Can I be honest? So I go on YouTube and I listen and I read the transcript and I get the transcript and then summarize it. But there are quite a number of things that are being proposed, and one of them I want to hear your views on tonight, and that is a continuous assessment. And what it sounds like to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on it, it sounds like to me there'll be continuous assessment, and part of that grade will go into the exam. They will combine the exam grade and the continuous assessment grade in order to give you your grade at common entrance. Am I getting it right? Somebody tell me. Right? And then they're talking about school meals And so we have Miss Dujon is right here, and she's going to talk about school meals and the ideas, because I remember hearing all of that on DLP TV, and it was in the manifesto and everything. So, you know, this is the DLP that they said DLP, according to people like them, you know, they put the candidates down and put Mr. Thorne down and put the DLP down. But now, we're hearing the ideas, the same ideas. So let's welcome Mrs. Felicia Dujon. Let me know if you're ready. Felicia, give me your hand, thumbs up. I think she's ready. Good evening. Oh, wow. I think you're still in the car going home.
Yeah, I'm actually doing that. I'm just completing my classes, so I'm heading home now. Yes.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. You're one of the hardest working women that I know. You know, very hardworking, and I'm so, you know, so proud of you. I still want you always tell me to get time to rest, and I want to tell you to take time to rest. But it's a good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Marcia, and good evening to your viewers as well, both locally and of course in the diaspora. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
But I heard your preamble. It's interesting, as you said, that you have a government that thought and said to the public that the Democratic Labour Party is void of ideas and we are void of solutions. And for day one, we have been providing them with solutions in various aspects, whether it's agriculture, whether it's health, whether it's education, whether it's the economic policies and stability. We have been always providing solutions because it's really about the people and the country. We are dedicated in providing those kinds of intervention on various matters. And so when you see the government not 2 weeks after all what they've said, 2 weeks after, they're implementing the very exact policies and implementations of those policies, it tells us quite a number of issues. And I think the Barbadian populace should be very aware of what is happening and see what this government is attempting to do to roll out those programs, when in fact that they did say that it was not something valuable, it was not something that would make a difference in the lives of citizens. And we're seeing that perhaps it's a change of heart, but I believe also it's really about a government that is void of ideas, a government that does not really think about how we can really transform the lives of our citizens. And I think that's what you're doing, because if you look at it I remember the last few months, one of the first things that they did was to change the name of a pre-existing school that was created and implemented by the Democratic Labour Party. So it's really about just it's all an illusion. I would say it's an illusion that they're creating. It's a facade because they're attempting to show persons that they are actually working when they're really not. But we'll continue to be a good credit to this country and continue to do the hard work on behalf of the people.
Yes, yes. And can you tell us what are some of those policies that you would have, because you were the spokesperson for education, and so you would have contributed to the manifesto. And I remember reading some of these things in the DLP manifesto. What are some of those ideas that you're saying, well, they were great ideas, I suppose they're now implementing them? What are some of those?
Well, one of the things that you just spoke about is in terms of the assessment. So we have to look at the pedagogy of learning. How do students learn and how do we assess students? But it's kind of interesting that the government is now talking about continuous assessment, because we all know that the 11 plus is really an entrance into secondary school. So how is the allocations of students will be done? So we don't see the connection between the two, but at some point, I guess the ministry will tell us how this assessment will work, because you'd still have some students that are in some cases are not doing as well in certain areas. And some of the recommendations that we had was to do the early interventions. So one of the other aspects that I've heard the government speak about is to have universal early childhood education. But the question I'm asking, we have so many daycares that are public daycares, but isn't sufficient infrastructure for that. So how are they going to roll it out? So it's one thing to hear what they're saying, but implementation would be very critical, and sustainability. How effective would it be in terms of the next few years? Because we have seen this government have started things and it has just died out. or it has not, we've just wasted all of the taxpayers' money, and there's no continuity, there's no sustainability. So these are the kind of things I want citizens to start making notes, if they haven't, to look at the policies that the government are implementing and see how long they last. Because it's good to see all the buzzwords, it's good to have the press in your face, but the implementation and the sustainability is very important for us. So yes, I do applaud them that they will implement those breakfast programs and all the other programs that we wished that we've been able to implement. Not only the breakfast, but in terms of security at schools. That's another problem that
let's hold there on the continuous assessment, because there's so many we still have we have another 10 minutes with you, but let's stick there a little bit, because I remember you guys are always talking about on DLP TV, you talked about trying to deal with some of the issues that you are having foundationally with children, and correct. So what they're saying is that through the continuous assessment, they're going to be able to find some of those issues, reading issues and so on. So children, they are not going to be moved on to another level and they can't read. What do you say about that?
Well, Marcia, let's look at the practicality of that. We have classrooms with over 30 students. So we have to look at that in terms of how the classrooms are structured, the capacity of classrooms with one teacher. So you have 30 students in one classroom. And again, the continuous assessment is what we call summative. So it's continuous. You just ensure that the student builds on the work. And we do the same at the university level, where students do coursework in certain courses, which is 100%, and they just continue to, revisit their draft work until they complete that. So the reality is that we have to look at, there's so many layers. So yes, we can say that. But even when we look at the load for teachers in the classroom setting, imagine one teacher with 30 students or 20-something students in a class, and then she or he has to take note of the progress of each student. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is, where is the data that's been collected? Where does it go? Because every year, parents and teachers, of course, we see the grades of students, and parents have seen sometimes your students, the grades increase and decrease, but nothing really has been done. So over the years, there's no data structure in terms of where we can go back and look at the data and say, okay, for this student has entered kindergarten, or this student has entered level 1 or class 1, and we're seeing a digress in the grades of the student. What have we done? So even that in itself, when we talk about in terms of the capacity of the Ministry of Education, what is the capacity for them to be able to have that continuous assessment for each student at every school? And so that is part of the reality. So what I'm saying, it is good to have the conversation, but the implementation and the capacity and the sustainability will make a difference. And part of what the DLP was thinking, of course, in terms of the manifesto, is to ensure that we have the data to support that. So we begin the observations of students very early. So it doesn't start when the student is in class 3. It would have started from the time the child enters primary school, so that we can see the basis and what types of intervention that the child needs. Diagnostics is very important. Diagnostic testing should be very important, as when I think they do it at some schools. But this same government removes some of the funding for that. So testing for some students is if you can afford it. They have students with various delays, whether it's speech delay, whether it's dyslexia, whatever that it is, there is no funding, and it's quite expensive for parents. So all of those matters, we're seeing these are the kinds of problems, the micro problems within the school system that the government needs to address immediately. And it's not that conversation. They have over 200 million this year, and you can almost imagine the budget allocation over the years. What have they been doing for that? And so when you have students now in class 2 and class 3, and I must say this, we have students, and I will call them the COVID babies. So there are students right now, the COVID babies are now, I think, in class, what's the class? Class 8?
Class 2.
Yes, so they'll be between 5 and 6. And those students were online for the majority of their lives. And I think class 2s as well, they spend the entire 2 years online. And we have not done any assessment, real intervention for those students. And so there's a number of issues, and the data is showing us that the intervention is not there. The teachers are overworked and overburdened. So all of those matters are looking into. And now they're telling us that teachers may have to look at in terms of reforming for suspension of behavioral matters for students. So teachers now have to be psychologists in classrooms while having to deal with
break that down for us a little bit, Mr. John. Break that down for us. Explain yeah. So you're saying that, go ahead.
In terms that I think I saw the ministry said that suspension has decreased. So in terms of how do they deal with students with behavioral problems, how do we deal with that? And it seems again, they're placing the burden on teachers and principals rather than seeking the kinds of professional intervention that is required, whether it's psychological care, whether that child needs some kind of intervention. And I think there's so much layers that the ministry is not, how I would say that, they're not walking through this. They're saying the data, but they're not analyzing the data the way that they should. And I think that is the problem that is happening. So for the Democratic Labour Party, it's not only that we're looking in terms of classroom and learning and the pedagogy in terms of how teachers teach, but also the infrastructure, safety for students. And I did hear the CEO is talking about a parent being criminalized if they go to the school and create any kind of havoc. It will be from $500 to $5,000. I mean, matters that it is relevant, but I think there are more serious issues that needs to be addressed. Violence in schools need to be addressed.
Violence in school, I agree with you, and I love the way you put it in context. But I do know that you have some parents, though, they go to the school and they create a big issue. And that's $500 been on the books for a long time. So an increase in it of the 5,000, I think, could deter bad behaving parents from going to the school. But I understand what you're saying. The context, if you put it in the greater context, you have more of the violence with the children in school than the parents, and so on. But we'll continue.
But I think, Marcia, we have to look at different matters as well. The majority of times when parents go to the school, it's usually the last resort. No parent really wants to go to a school and create havoc or be a menace at the child's school. I think, and I've come across several cases where parents have actually gone to the principal and the principal have tried to address this through the ministry and it has been ignored. And as a parent, you're very sensitive to your child. So obviously, if something has happened, if your child is being bullied at school, if there's matters at school that needs to be immediately addressed, the ministry have to be more proactive to the point that the parent does not feel the need to go to the school and address the matter, that these matters are being addressed. I have come across too many matters dealing with violence, dealing with children being bullied at school, and the ministry has not done anything for many years. So the ministry also have to be held accountable for not addressing those matters effectively and efficiently. Because most of the times when parents go to the school, and as a parent, Marcia, we as parents, when a child comes home and tells you, well, mommy, this happens or this happens, your first response is to protect your child. The other response is to go to the school and find out exactly what is happening, because, if a child tells you something, you want to show that it is communicated well, that you understand what the situation is. And then when you go to the school, what I'm seeing is that a lot of parents are saying that when they go to the school, they're getting a response, but sometimes the ministry has to intervene. And the ministry have not been doing that. And so they need to have a department that deals with those matters specifically, that deals with matters that deals with conflict and conflict management, whether it has to do with parents, and the PTA as well has a responsibility as well. Yes. What is the role of the PTA?
So all of that. So you're also saying respect for parents as well. So
yes. And I think, and I do believe that. I think parents, and I always caution parents that always be slow to react in such a way. Because remember, your teachers are like parents, and we want to have a very good relationship with parents. But at the same time, you understand the frustration that parents and teachers go through when the ministry does not intervene.
Mhm.
And there are a number of matters that I had to intervene, where I had to call the ministry, I had to call the school, I had to call parents to bring about a peaceful resolution to the matter. Because at the end of the day, it's the students, and the students are our clients. So we try to bring the best solutions. But I think the ministry has always been slow to respond. So now that they've increased the fee, I don't think a $5,000 fee will really stop a parent if the parents feel that they have to protect their child. So we have to take that into context, that they need to have a special task force that deals with those matters, the very severe matters that the ministry has to immediately intervene upon before it gets to the point where parents have to go to the school to try to resolve the matter.
Yes, yes, very, very well said. I mean, can I say? I mean, you understand this, what's happening in the school system and in education in Barbados in such a what am I saying it in such a deep way, and I think and it's wide is a word I'm looking for, and I think that I don't even have the right adjective I'm looking for, but I think that you understand it is what I'm saying. Because I didn't look on that side of it. When I heard about the $5,000, I said, good, it's important because you need order in school, but then you have to look at the other side as well. Let's quickly talk about, we only have what, a minute or 2 minutes
Okay, no
about
problem.
the school meals, because I noted something, not school meals, but the breakfast. What I noted was that as we were looking at the budget, I don't know if they could bring that up, the school meal budget, what I saw from it is that it's actually it's actually lower than what it was last year. And so we were here trying to figure it out. Why was it lower? Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Is this it?
Right.
This is not it.
And,
okay.
and these are the kinds of questions that we need to ask the government. We need to ask the ministry. We need to ask the minister.
Right. Yeah.
Because
talk to me quick about the school of the breakfast program.
I think the breakfast program, as we've advocated for it. I think it's a wonderful program, and the students, because some students, the reality is that the majority of times, some students do not get the opportunity to have breakfast. Sometimes we see them at the van stand trying to get, or even the little vans trying to get something to eat. And I think it's a wonderful idea, but implementation is very important. But also, I think the government has to give parents a little ease at the supermarket. So help them at the school and also help them at home, because food prices are very, very high. And I think parents do need a child allowance, and I'll always continue to advocate that. The government need to assist parents by giving them allowance. Not this hypothetical idea that they have in giving them a bond or something like that. They need the cash. Give them allowance. Every child's supposed to at least get a little allowance to help parents at home, to help every family. And I think that is part of what I'm trying to advocate. So yes, we can engage in the breakfast program, and I'm pleased and I applaud them for that. But I believe that the government can do the right thing by giving parents a little ease at the supermarket, a little ease with their taxes, and give us back the child allowance. So that will help us to continue to nurture our children, and especially for parents as well, and the single parents as well.
I just found the adjective I was trying to find: thorough. I think that you're very thorough, and balanced is another one. Now my head is kicking in. And seriously, in all honesty, I have to say that I'm not, you're not trying to, this sound like all, like how it was in the day, not the buzzwords and all of that. This sounds like you are looking at education in a holistic manner, looking at the parent, the home, and the child in the classroom. It's holistic and it's refreshing, Mr. John.
Well, because maybe, as I said before, maybe because I raised with old people, so we're very old and traditional. So, but at the same time, we just take things from what we know. This is what we know
And you have
as a
two
people.
children. You have two children in school.
Yes, so this is what we know. We have to go back to what is innate to us, what is natural to us as a family, as what is natural to us as citizens, as Barbadians and as Caribbean people. This is how we've always been in our society, and it has worked very well for us. So let's not deviate from it. Let's just continue and improve in certain places, but always remember that we are serving people, and always the persons that we serve at the center of our work, and take a humanitarian approach to it. Let us not try to criminalize parents. Let us not try to criminalize our children, and do better for them in any way that we can.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, very well said, Miss Minister of Education.
No, I'm just trying to do my part. I'm just trying to do my part.
I think that Errol Walton Barrow, listening to you, and even Sir Grantley because I think it wasn't Sir Grantley Adams that started the school meals, and I think it got expanded on the Barrow. Somebody can let me know that, because we want to give everybody their credit. But I really like your holistic approach. It's very balanced.
Yes, please.
And it's thorough. And it's a breath
of
fresh air. And thank you so much. And I think what you're saying.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you applaud them for what they're doing. We'll wait to see the implementation of a lot of the same ideas that the DLP had.
Yes, and I'm willing to help, because it's about the people and the children.
Yes, wonderful. Keep up the good work in your
Thank you so much
as well, and the advocacy.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, stay strong. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Wow, guys, that was really very special, because oftentimes you get people and, you're talking with people and you could tell they don't really understand their area. Not Ms. Dujon. She understands this area, every part of it. And I can tell. And I think you could tell as well. And it's not buzzwords. And these are the kinds of people, grassroots. That's another adjective there, grassroots. And that's what I like about Ms. Dujon, actually. I really like her. Very good job. Very, very good job. Mr. Thorne made an excellent choice in having her to be the spokesperson over on education, and she's done a very, very good job. Well, we're going on to another fantastic lady, and this is now still part, Dave, if you can find our kitchen table estimate little thing that we have there, if you have it. But we've started a series, y'all, and this series is called the Kitchen Table Estimate Series. And you know what you do at your kitchen table. You don't just eat food there, right? Or prepare food. Some of you sit down, you eat, or if you're peeling something, you still sit down there, peel a potato and, do whatever at the kitchen table, cut the bread, all of that. But a lot of people also do their bills at the kitchen table. In fact, back in the day, you could see somebody have this thing and they have it's like a piece of wire, and then they have all the bills stacked up on it, like back in the day. Now they have, all this fancy stuff, but the bills there, and you got all the letters come in and all of that, and it's the same kitchen table you do the other things on, but a lot of people still do their bills at their kitchen table. Well, that's what we're doing tonight. This is a kitchen table series. We just talked about education and we were looking more on policy. The other night we looked at the numbers, okay? And we touched a little bit on policy, but not too much, all right? Tonight we're going to do both. We're going to be looking at foreign affairs. And you know who we have? The lovely Miss Maxine McClean. And not just lovely, but she's full of knowledge in this area. I did spring on her very late this evening, but we kind of have to try to keep up with what they're doing in Parliament. But we're going to talk about foreign affairs this evening, and we're looking at the estimates. And normally when a ministry presents its estimates, members of parliament are supposed to question the minister. Did anybody see that happening? Well, I read, so, but anybody who watched it saw that questioning, that, you know, serious questioning of the minister happening, Minister Chris Sinckler. They're supposed to ask, where is the money going? Did anybody ask that? What results are being produced? What value is a country receiving? Did we hear that? But Barbados currently has no parliamentary opposition in the lower house. Am I not telling the truth? So tonight, the people themselves must sit in the seat of scrutiny. That's it. Somebody on Facebook just told me off this evening that they said, why you don't quit it? You guys already got 30-0. Quit it. You don't need to be asking any questions. Sometimes I say, you know what, they make Mr. Barrow, you know, feel like he didn't do anything. Because that doesn't sound very intelligent at all. But tonight we examine the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Because according to the estimates, Barbadians are funding approximately 80.7 million in operating expenditure, with a broader program footprint that approaches 96 million. Now, we are going to note that the minister keeps talking about 80.7 million, never about this 96 million. All right? So that part, that is missing from what he's presenting. He only said 80.7 million. So the question tonight is simple. What exactly are Barbadians paying for? What exactly are Barbadians paying for? Well, here we go. We have the very knowledgeable Miss Maxine McClean joining us at this program. Welcome, Miss McClean. Okay, so we have the same issue again, not hearing you. So you just go out and come back in. I'll just read the questions. I'll continue till you get back in. Anybody listen to Chris Sinckler? I know that a lot of people find it difficult to listen because, you know, we were told this man was so awful. We were told that he is a very awful human being, and we were told that by the Barbados Labour Party. And for a lot of people, it's now difficult to see him sitting there with them and to actually listen to him. I thought that he didn't know what he was doing. I thought that they said that he went to the school he went to was not any school of any grade that will produce anybody of great pedigree. That's what I thought. That's what I heard. I had just come here, and that's what I heard. Right? And so a lot of us, for us, it was difficult listening. But as Miss McClean tries to get back in, hopefully she does, the ministry's operating expenditure is 80.7 million. Remember, we have our book. I had to get a new book. Yeah. And I got my pen, and I use my phone for my calculator. But the ministry's operating expenditure is 80.7 million, okay? And that is what Chris Sinckler spoke about in Parliament. Now, I want you to write these things down, right? This includes diplomatic staff salaries, overseas missions. So overseas missions, especially those of you in the diaspora, we're talking about all of the embassies, the missions, the consulates, all of that, okay? So this is what this particular ministry is about. Partly, mostly, right? Overseas missions, international subscriptions, and we're going to talk about what those are. Consultants, property rentals, important, write that down. Operational costs, right? But while the minister is saying that it's $80.7 million, what we found in the estimates today is that the full program activity, the footprint of that is 96 million. So the big question is, why didn't he say that in Parliament? That's close to $100 million. That's a whole, what, $16 million difference. So we want to ask the minister, Minister Chris Sinckler, first of all, which number represents the real cost of running Barbados foreign policy? Is it the 80 million or is it closer to 100 million? Because something is not right here unless the estimates is wrong. So let Miss McClean is here. Let's see. Hello. Good night. Okay, let's see if Dave can help you. I don't know what if he can help you. I'm gonna see if he could help you. See if you could help her. We'd love to hear from her. Right? So somebody said the bloated cabinet and the consultants, all of that, guys, is part of the and we're saying 96 million. He's saying 80 million. Yeah? Yeah? So let's continue. Let's continue, folks. Let's continue. So we're asking Minister Chris Sinckler, which number represents the real cost of running Barbados's foreign policy? Is it the 80 million, sir, or the $96 million, or close, which is closer to $100 million? That's actually in the estimates. Which one is right? You are the estimates. So it is like this, guys, that you know that if Mr. Thorne was inside there, right? If Mr. Thorne was inside there, you know this is what he would be asking, right? And if we go to the first 7 questions that we know Mr. Thorne, so let's be Mr. Thorne tonight. Who want to be Mr. Thorne tonight? The number 1 question that he would ask, what measurable economic returns will Barbados receive for spending 80 million plus? As I told you, we saw $96 million in the estimates on diplomacy. That's the thing, you know. We're going to spend 80 million plus, $96 million on diplomacy. How do we measure economic returns? Right? Because the one of the things that the Barbados government is doing at the moment is combining diplomacy with economic returns. They are trying to get business overseas, trade. As you notice, the name is, you know, trade and foreign affairs. Okay, so there's that combining of all of that together. But the question is, how are we going to measure it? It's not a bad idea, because if you do have those missions there, and you have ambassadors overseas, they should be. I think it would be important for them to try to, you know, have business, seek business arrangements on behalf of Barbados. But how are we going to measure those economic returns? Yeah. So that's a question we know Mr. Thorne would have been asking. Yeah. Let's try Miss McClean again. Good night. All on her side, I can tell. On her side. I can see the light on her side. Let her try her phone. Okay, so we're still having some challenges there with Ms. McClean's sound. You guys are hearing me okay? All right. So Mr. Thorne will be asking them, what is the measurable economic returns? How are we going to measure this? How are we going to know whether or not this is working? This is making sense. We're talking about almost $100 million. Yeah? I'm now hearing a noise on mine. Come on. Okay, you're still hearing me well? I'm still hearing a noise coming through on my mic. All right. Okay. Now, the next question that we would ask, I think Mr. Thorne would ask, anybody who's out there thinking like Mr. Thorne? If you are thinking of a question that Mr. Thorne would ask them about this money, put it in the chat. I think Mr. Thorne would ask them about this other aspect of the estimate section. So inside the section, inside the estimates, we will find there's a line item, Barbados, that should immediately catch our attention. You know what it is? It's called rental of property. So here it is. The minister is saying that they are going to, the minister of foreign trade and foreign ministry, Chris Sinckler, is saying to us that they're going to be renting property. You know how much the rental is? And I want you to write it down. I want you to write it down, please. If you don't write it on the paper, write it in the comment section. We're doing this thing together. We're not going to, we won't be defeated. Miss McClean can't be on. Listen, I studied this material. We can do it together. And if push comes to shove, Miss McClean can call in. Right? If we can't get her like that, she will call in. But guys, guess what? $5.46 million is going to be used to rent property. Do you know what kind of property they're talking about? This is not owning assets, you know. There's a difference between renting forever and owning assets. You are renting property in order to house these embassies and consulates. $5.46 million for the year. Think about that. Let's see if we can get. Good night, Miss McClean.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you better now.
Yeah, I'm on my tablet, so.
I know the feeling, Miss McClean. I'm really sorry about that. But, you know, this is what they do.
Well,
they're afraid of you, girl.
Well, sorry for them. I ain't frightened for nobody.
I am frightened for he. You say, you're supposed to say, I am frightened for he. I am frightened for he.
No, nobody.
Nobody.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Miss McClean, we were at, in lieu of time, we were at number 2. We were looking at this 5.46 million in rent.
No, but I think the reality is that you have a combination of things. One, well, you have to rent office space. That is for your various missions. You have to pay for accommodation for staff and all of these things. So when you talk about diplomatic properties, it is a mix of office space and accommodation, because you have personnel that are posted overseas, foreign service officers, with families in some cases, individuals alone. So in the total scheme of things, the Foreign Service is largely people undertaking responsibilities, and that's where that cost goes. Now, of course, when you look at it, you have to ask yourself, when we take these things on, we have to be sure that the people that we send overseas are doing the jobs that you send them to do. And so without accommodations. Now, what I can tell you, in one case, I know that in the US, the government, I'm trying to remember the exact year when it would have been done, would have invested in ownership of property using NIS funds, because when you pay rent, you know that money is dead.
Yes.
And so the issue is, do you invest in purchase or rent, or a combination of those things? So you probably would find over the years that the government, successive governments, would have dealt with acquiring properties in some instances and renting others in others. So that is a necessary expense, because we have missions. I mean, when I was foreign minister, we would have opened missions in Cuba, Brazil, and China. I think we've had new ones open since then as well. The critical thing is, understand that it is not cheap running your foreign affairs ministry in terms of that responsibility. What I find interesting, because you've looked at that, and I'm sorry that I missed on the top, because one of the things I would tell you is that I noticed that between last year and this year, the figure went up by 20%, which is a significant increase. And that to me is critical. What is it that is accounting for that kind of increase, and what are we getting for that? Because that 20% is like, it went from about 74 million to 89 million. And you asked about, if you look at the figures, because what happens, you have if you would notice that the 80,691,000, excuse me, $724, it says estimates of the amount required for the non-statutory expenditure. So that 80 million is only part of the expenditure.
Right, exactly.
You would have to go and look at things like probably salaries and requirements for paying.
And if I can tell you, what I found was that it came up that the entire ministry carried a footprint of 96 million dollars, and not. But then he keeps talking about 80 million in Parliament.
Well, because he will be focusing on what is in what I call the big book. But then there's other expenditures. Once you have staff and so on, those statutory requirements are there. But what it says to you is that you are actually expending a significant amount of money on other aspects of the operations of the ministry, which will also need to be scrutinized and understood by persons looking at those and trying to understand whether we are getting value for money and so on. And I think so that's important that you flag that this is not all that goes to the ministry or to any ministry, because all ministries would have the statutory and this figure here, which would be the non-statutory expenditures. Later on, we have to explain more the
right as we go on.
I didn't do that tonight.
But let me just go back on this, and I do understand what you're saying, that you would have to rent or purchase property overseas, diplomatic properties. But there's some particular questions that I prepared, and I want to ask the minister. I know that the government watches the program, all right? And I'm here trying to think like Mr. Thorne. And so what I think what we want is transparency. Which diplomatic properties are being rented? Okay? Who owns the properties? Important, Miss McClean.
Who are the landlords?
Who are the landlords, right? Who are the landlords of these properties? Do you hear me, Barbados? You're hearing this, guys? And for those of you who say it's 30 love, you could shut up. You don't need to do anything, Marcia Weeks. You need to quit it.
Marcia, could I quickly say something to those persons? It is for the very reason that you have that you have to have the questions asked. Are we going to sit down like, ostriches with our heads in the sand and say, just do what the heck you want to do? Spend our money how you want to spend it? If Barbadians do not consider it important to vote, or if they figure that they want to choose this, I as a taxpayer, you as a taxpayer, have a right to ask the questions you're asking. If that person doesn't want, get off the program and go and party or do whatever. It is a silly behavior and stupid, frankly. I don't usually call people stupid, but that's beyond stupid.
It is.
Sorry,
it is. No, but I agree with you, right? So who are the landlords for that, right? And this is what are the lease terms? And Mr. Thorne, by now he probably would have found out something and speaking in parables in there about now. Has the ministry evaluating purchasing properties instead of renting long term, which is what Ms. McClean was alluding to? How is the money being spent? Somebody's gonna ask, how did you determine that you're going to rent versus you're going to buy? Who are the landlords? Right? All of these things matter, right? Because if taxpayers are paying millions in rent every year, every citizen, we deserve to know the long-term strategy. Are we going to continue to spend 5.4 million? What's the long-term strategy here? These are important questions, Ms. McClean. But if we go to number three says, we would ask the minister, what benefits will Barbados gain from paying $6 million in international subscriptions? Can you explain to the viewers what that is about?
You have to look at a breakdown, and I would have to pull up, but the subscriptions would go to our participation in international organizations, where subscriptions or contributions are required. Yes. And in essence, if you are part of a multilateral system, and let's say ILO or WTO or some UN agency, those are the kinds of things that we would have to look at. And I would want to go and look at these specific items. So it is a question of what is the nature of the subscription and what is our relationship to the entity to which we are paying a subscription. So if it's not a necessarily a subscription like, let me use a parallel. If we belong to a club and you pay subs, you expect to get something from that club. Okay.
Right.
And so one of the things that you would look for would be certain benefits. Now, I heard the minister today, Minister Sinckler, saying, and I made a note of it, he was talking about his work while he was in the US recently in Washington, talking about succeeding in his efforts to get the World Bank to what he said to on-graduate. I wrote down because remember, as a developing country, middle income, we are graduated out of certain things. No, I would like him to tell us, having gotten that status, because let's say that we pay monies to be part of the World Bank system or the IMF, etc. And you are saying that you have been able, and it is something that we would have been trying very hard over the years to accomplish, I guess, as certain developments took place regionally and internationally. You are saying that you know when you look at our situation, you have to look at multiple variables to explain how vulnerable we are as an economy. But anyhow, the point I want to make is you say that you have been able to get us some concessions, and these concessions translate into loans. I appreciate that, but tell me what we have done with the loans. How much money have we been able to realize through your work and having gotten that, it is not enough to say we got that. Tell us, because remember, we are looking at the finances of government.
Correct.
And monies that are being expended with some expectations of specific returns or outcomes or, actions, activities, etc. So tell us, having gotten that, what monies we have received, to what projects or initiatives they have gone, with what results. And that is the kind of delving into these numbers that people would have done or requested in the past. And in the absence of opposition in Parliament, we ask them as citizens who are taxpayers and who have an interest in what is happening in this country.
Yes, and I think we have a right to do that. I have some questions there, and the first one, the question that you were asking the government, basically you were asking what economic opportunities were created. So yes, it is that we're spending $60 million in international subscription, but what economic, 6 million. What economic opportunities were created as a result of our being part of these organizations? I remember Mr. Thorne saying that there was 500,000, $500,000 US. $500,000 was used to try to secure a meeting with Senator Rubio. And my understanding is that up until now, that meeting never materialized. And already, I'm saying, is this how we are spending the 6 million? I don't know, because nobody answered the question that Mr. Thorne had thrown out there, that Barbados wanted a meeting with Senator Rubio in the Trump administration and spent $500,000 US to some fast-talking person trying to get this meeting to happen. And as far as what we know up till now, the meeting didn't occur. So these are some of these things, yeah.
Now that's $1 million. I like to put it in Barbados. That's $1 million Barbados dollars.
Yes.
That would have been spent on what, to my mind, was a total waste of time. Because the reality is that if you seek to set up a meeting with, he is the Secretary of State, huh? Mm-hmm. Which is the equivalent of our Prime Minister. Why are you going to pay $500,000 to get a meeting that probably will last about half an hour at most? And furthermore, in all that has been happening, why are you seeking to address those issues through CARICOM? We just had the heads of government meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis, and he was there meeting with the heads. I mean, it just tells you that whoever was advising the Prime Minister, because I have a suspicion that was an instruction from Mahli and not originating in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or if that ministry recommended that, it was to my mind not well thought out. Because at the end of we are supposed as a small member state of CARICOM, we have been using efforts. There are parliamentarians in the US of Caribbean origin, our roots, and these are but you're gonna pull $1 million Barbados dollars out of the treasury to pay for something like that. Now think about it, compare what you were gonna spend, because we are here questioning $6 million, and rightfully so, but we want to understand where it goes. But look at $1 million Barbados dollars in relation to 6 million for a single meeting. Does that make any sense?
Meeting, and that did not occur. So you would have wasted that money with that consultant, or that they call them lobbyist, and you didn't, and the meeting didn't happen. But Miss McClean, I listen to you. This is why people say, this is why I love the DLP. I do. And in comparison to the BLP, you heard what you said. You didn't even, you spoke it so naturally. you said that what you guys would do is to try to connect with people in the diaspora. So you would use your resources that you already have. And I know that's true because with our movies, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs played an important role in connecting us. You understood how to get Eric Holder on your side.
The Attorney General at the time.
With under Obama. You know, and that's what I'm saying about the Democratic Labour Party. And people forget these things, Ms. McClean. But they're going to spend $1 million to get to Senator, Secretary of State Rubio, and the meeting didn't happen.
I will give you another example. I remember we had an ambassador in Washington. He was not a political appointee. He was a young man, younger than he is now for sure. He was our ambassador because we would have appointed a number of career diplomats in my time. And I remember, you might be familiar with the name Yvette. I think her first name is Yvette Clark.
Yes,
I would have to go and he would have spent time to facilitate a meeting with myself and her and a number of other members, you know, within the Congress, etc. The issue of payment never came up. In fact, you got to ask yourself what really happened with the money, but I will leave it there. I will put a question mark.
Yeah.
Where that
$1 million that's gone. 1 million Barbados dollars for one meeting, as Ms. McClean is saying, about half hour, and that's why
I can tell you the results that came from Ambassador Hart, as he was then, from the efforts that he made. There were very specific things we wanted to raise, and we negotiated. And you know, I could go back and research and give the exact titles of what it is we were looking at and what came out of those events, you know. But I suppose we have money, these people have money to toss around, while at home people are doing without.
Doing without. As Dawn by Nature says, $1 million to set up a meeting, while QEH had to take up a collection for equipment. And this is these are the circumstances, Ms. McClean, and the scenarios and the situations that we are living in. This is the climate that we're living in. They just is that they speak in millions and they don't understand. Somebody is not tracking. Somebody's not tracking, and that's why this is one of the reasons they would not have wanted Mr. Thorne to be in this. To be at this debate this year because of all of these. But we're here asking it tonight. But because of time, we will have to move on from the subscriptions. And I'm sure a lot of you are learning a lot of things tonight that you do have to pay for those international membership fees and so on. For who will receive the 1.5 million in consultant contracts. Now, that is also Ms. McClean. Inside the estimate, there's $1.5 million for consultants, and the thing is, what work will be delivered? What are your thoughts about that?
You know, one of the things that I hope will not happen is that they will pay somebody to advise them on things like the gathering. Because today I listened to a discussion, comments from the minister. I listened to it today. I think it happened in the house yesterday evening.
Yes.
But I went to a funeral yesterday. I didn't follow it, but I certainly, once we had a conversation, I went and I listened. And one of the questions posed to him was about the whole question of diaspora engagement and so on. And I think he turned it over to the Director General, and her words were that the event went very what was she said? It was a huge success. No, nobody. I mean, the Director General. I wrote it down. I have a lot of time for her. She's a very solid, long-standing career officer. But if I were in place, I would have asked her to explain that. Because in order for you to tell me that it was a huge success, and I suspect they might have paid a consultant to help them with that exercise. I don't know, but that somebody could tell us no if it isn't so. But to tell me that it was a huge success, you would have to tell me on what basis were you saying that? Give me some concrete examples. What money was spent? And I can tell you, because we are talking estimates, anybody who goes through last year's estimates would see at least 6 million or more allocated to regathering. This money was dispersed across various ministries. So you wouldn't only find money in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs last year for regathering. It was across every single ministry almost. And I went through it and I summed it up. I was trying to locate my tabulation, but I didn't find it in time. But the point was, and she said something to the effect that the newer or non-traditional missions sought to use the initiative of regathering to bring more Barbados into the fold. But my understanding was that the regathering had a very specific purpose of, among other things, encouraging Barbadians to come home, you know, and if you look at the activities that took place in Barbados, a lot of it was parties. And in fact, nobody reported on the numbers of Barbadians who came home over the year, specifically to participate, etc. So when we start to talk about consultants, and you can imagine that perhaps some of those consulting fees go to paying people to help government to execute programs.
Yeah.
In this case, related to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we need to know exactly what those programs are. But beyond that, results. And this is not what you're hearing questions being raised about. Why have you spent this money on what? And to what end? What results have you realized, you know, from spending this money?
Can you imagine Mr. Thorne in there, Miss McClean? Sorry, I cut you off, but I just can't imagine. Huh?
I said we lost sometimes, so I understand. Go ahead. Yeah. We're trying to make up.
No, I am just here saying that I can just imagine Mr. Thorne grilling them in there on this regathering for them to show the stats. Let's look at the objective. This is your objective. Show us the statistics. You said it was a success. You know, show us the statistics. How much did you pay consultants in order to get this regathering idea off the ground? And did you achieve the objectives? Because here it is, number 4. You have there are consultants that are going to be paid $1.5 million actually allocated to them. And so we are asking questions here on the MARCIA Week show, the loyal opposition. Who will receive those contracts? Who will receive those contracts? You see, Miss McClean, what would they be hired to do?
Exactly. In fact, I wonder, and I raise a question there: is anybody being, or was anybody paid to deal with this welcome stamp initiative? Because I made a note here. Minister Sinckler said the welcome stamp with such wonderful success, you know, because he was talking about the diaspora and he made reference to that. And again, if you're telling me, Minister, that it was such wonderful success, what numbers have we been reporting on? Numbers of persons participating? Are they still here? Have new participants come? What has happened with the initial participants? Have some of them decided to live in Barbados? I mean, and change their status and are taxpayers and whatever, you know. So we get this fluffy, nice sounding language, and I must tell you, as I listened to the minister and the questions that would have been posed to him, MARCIA, I just heard, you know, as one of his colleagues said to him, he was gonna bowl him. He used a cricket analogy, he's gonna bowl him a ball, and in other words, he could hit it for 6 because it was such a softie. That's my take on it. But you anybody can go back and listen to the minister. but overall, because I know we don't have a lot of time, and I want to say this. Overall, as I listened to the exchanges, it was a simple exercise of the minister demonstrating his understanding of what should happen, what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is about. Somebody actually asked him to explain what it's about, because it is not one of those ministries that people, you know. So it sounded like he was doing two things: demonstrating to his colleagues why he should have the job over any of them.
Yeah.
Because remember, my former colleague was Minister of Foreign Affairs for 11 months.
Yes, and we don't have a whole lot of time there, Ms. McClean. We want to go through, just reminding you, but go right ahead.
No, I'm just saying that the whole exercise seemed to be a classroom of explaining in very generic kind of terms what the ministry is about, and so on, without any questioning on, let us talk about value for money issues, you know, expenditures, what you're expecting to come out of this, looking back based on what happened, you know, is this 20% increase justified, etc. You go ahead.
Yes,
because
and that goes right into the next area. And I'll just say this about consultants, that if they're being hired with taxpayers' money, the public should be able to see what was produced. Bottom line, that's what we're saying. Now, economic diplomacy claim. The ministry has been, you know, they've been framing foreign policy as economic diplomacy, right? And by that, they mean that they can produce, you know, export opportunities, which actually some of that worked under Ms. McClean for us, and for Dave and I and our company. Export opportunities, investment partnerships, labor mobility programs, scholarships, market access, etc. So, and I think it's a good idea, Ms. McClean, where it's not just, you know, diplomacy, but they've now added that other part of it where they're looking for returns. You know, they're looking to see, you know, look about investment, foreign investments, and entering foreign markets, etc. But the big question is, how are we going to measure? And I think it's, yeah, go ahead, Ms. McClean, jump in.
That is not new. That has been the thrust of foreign affairs and foreign trade for a while. Unfortunately, what we have not been seeing are concrete initiatives resulting from the work of various ministries. I mean, if you think, for example, of South America, because I noticed you had a question there about CARICOM as well. What are we doing to facilitate? And I heard the minister make the point that the government can do what, but the private sector has to be the ones to make things happen. That's my interpretation of what he's saying. But what have they been doing specifically to get people to go out there and participate in meaningful activity to generate business? How have they been supporting efforts? Now, this is where, in talking about economic diplomacy, the synergies and the connections. I mean, I heard the minister say all the right words, but right now we cannot even see how our BIDC, for example, has been facilitating the work of the ministry, because they're even doing it home. So how can they, you know? So in essence, you need to have some clear plans and things implemented, but you're frustrating locals at home, you know. And so really and truly, it sounds good. It sounds what it should be, but I am still waiting. Take, for example, our mission in Ghana, our mission in Kenya. We have heard a lot of talk, but have we seen any effort? You know, we also have diplomatic ties outside of CARICOM, bilateral relations with. We have an ambassador to CARICOM who is also ambassador to a whole set of countries in Caribbean. What has Ambassador Comijong, that's his name, done since he's been appointed And he's been, I believe, ambassador probably for the entire time that this government has been in power. Where in all of these numbers can he say we have generated so many business opportunities? We've gotten Barbadians to invest in St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica, wherever, or whatever. We have created, what's happening there. That's the economic diplomacy you're talking about. Our ambassadors and our missions working to get connections. I'll give an example. We talk about economic diplomacy. And if you look at our relations with the European Union or with China or Brazil, there was a time when Brazil was engaging in a lot of activity within the region in the area of agriculture, Barbados included, because what the idea was that you wanted to build the capacity of farmers to be profitable. You understand? So these are the kinds of things. So don't tell me the buzzwords. Break it down and amplify those words to talk about actual initiatives that have taken place, that are ongoing, or that are contemplated. But we heard, as I said, just the froth on top of the beer, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not hearing.
Yes, thank you. Good to have you to break that down. And as you are talking, as I will always say, that helped our the film industry was really supported, by the embassies and the foreign ministry. And it wasn't just in a policy, but we were coming home with foreign exchange. And that's the kind of economic returns that we're looking at as well.
Can I say something on that? Because I think that's important. And I'm not saying it just to because we are talking. You and your company, you and Dave and Step by Step Productions, was the first entity that I know that produced a film and shot the film in Ghana.
Yes.
Jamaica and Barbados. Now, my question is, having done that, having been invited and participated in the year of return, ending that with the premiere, etc. What has, and that was before there was an embassy. What has the embassy done to build on that work? You have a network, or we have, I must tell you, I've been involved since 2019 with that. You have a network of actors, technical personnel, and so on in Ghana and beyond Ghana. You went to Rwanda and so on. Has anybody said, look, here is a company that has taken the time to do this? And how do we build on those networks?
No, not a thing, Miss McClean, not a thing. We won't even waste
the industry and the orange economy, and you have a pioneering effort that was successful.
Yeah, one of the questions that I have here before we go on to the CARICOM section that you alluded to is how much foreign investment did the missions facilitate, right? These diplomatic missions, and what I can say is, as I said, I saw when I had the opportunity of working or being close to a lot of these missions, whether it's Toronto or Barbados, the US or the UK. We were all over them, and we saw for our business how economic benefits, what was actually the opening of foreign markets. Let me put it more like that. I think that's what I want to say. How Barbadian businesses were helped to enter foreign markets was, I have to give Miss McClean her jacket. They say that she did that. She did that.
That's how I got to know you.
Yes.
That's how I met you.
That's it. Export. We are able to export, or people know me overseas, and Dave and our firms, because of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, under Miss McClean, and you need to take a bow for that. Take a bow. I have not seen. They have dropped the ball. They have dropped. Yeah, that's the years they call. What they call those years again? what they call those years? Those were
I
the
don't
what
know.
kind of,
I don't even use, well, we can't, well,
yeah.
we can ask the minister, he would have been labeled. I guess the rub off the label in the same way that he has on graduated, he's been, the label has been removed. But no, but you're correct. Go ahead. You know, you're correct.
But let's look at CARICOM. We could stay here a little bit, and we probably Friday we need to go back to this because we're rushing through.
Yes, yes.
CARICOM, Miss McClean. This is so unbelievable. October 1st, you remember? Right? They said that the free movement is starting, and it's supposed to be this big thing, and the economic returns, and the jobs, and all of that, right? Now, the minister, he described CARICOM as a strategic anchor of Barbados' foreign policy. And remember that they are practicing, as you said, they've done it before, this economic diplomacy. But the reality is that, Ms. McClean, only 319 persons were recorded moving under that regime of the free movement. Do you understand?
Mean from Barbados? From Barbados?
No, a period. St. Vincent nationals, into Barbados, St. Vincent nationals, right? You're talking about Dominica. In fact, only 5 Barbadians had taken the opportunity to move to Dominica. And I think 1 person to Belize. What I'm saying is that only between the 4 countries, and as it relates to Barbados, right? Only 319 persons were recorded under that regime. So if CARICOM is truly an economic anchor of the foreign policy, the big question, I think, and we discussed it on the show here, why are Barbadians not using these regional opportunities in large numbers? What is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs doing? How are they going to achieve this the CARICOM being this economic anchor to the foreign policy, Ms. McClean?
No, but I mean, when as an anchor, it is a lot more than an economic. But the reality is, what pushes somebody to move, and who moves? Because a Barbadian who is in a job here and so on, unless he or she anticipates that they're going to probably earn more, have more attractive opportunities, etc., they probably will not move. Now, for me, and this is something that I have felt and have been living, is exploring opportunities to collaborate, engage in joint ventures, etc. Let's Belize, for example. Belize is a significantly larger country. I mean, Belize is very similar to Guyana in terms of topography, etc. Lots of agricultural lands, etc. The question is, well, their dollar is about the same as ours, if I remember correctly. But are there opportunities for investing in that country? I do not necessarily have to relocate to take advantage of economic opportunities. I can say this in relation to Suriname. Ironically, Barbados, I don't know if she operates out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or what, but there's some special envoy to Suriname and Guyana. But I can tell you that in talking to some Surinamese business people and a couple Guyanese business people with whom I have done some work in terms of putting them in touch with people, etc., have not been able to engage that individual in anything constructive. So in essence, we are spending money, and maybe that's one of the consulting things that we're talking about here. The 1.5 million in consultant contracts. I don't know who pays the special envoy if it comes out of which ministry it comes out of. But again, the question is, when we talk about the anchor, how do we translate that notion of anchoring our regional relations within the framework of CARICOM? What are we doing to support to identify and support people who are exploring opportunities. So I don't know that Barbadians have been assisted in, I don't want to say points, assisted in identifying those opportunities where they exist, you know. And so I think basically that's part of the challenge we have, you know, that we talk about these things, but we don't flesh them out and pursue them or direct people to pursue them.
Yes, very, very well said, Ms. McClean. As we close this segment, we're going to close, and hopefully, I know that Ms. McClean, you have a lot more to say on this this ministry, because this was your ministry. But to close this segment, what we want to say here is that diplomacy must not exist, you know, only in speeches or the conferences that we attend, or these international meetings, and who, you know, hobnobbing and so on, you know, who we know, etc. But you know, for example, this if we're going to talk about this $80 million a year that is being spent in foreign policy operations, then the public deserves to get some clear results. What are the new markets created? New investments, new opportunities, new jobs, new training and scholarships. They talk about some of that. We want to know more about that, because foreign policy should not only exist in the halls or in the mind. You know, it's not just international diplomacy, but we're looking for results, right? And these are some of the things we're here discussing at the kitchen table of us ordinary Barbadians, okay? And I really hope that you were able to gain some knowledge tonight about the foreign affairs, or foreign trade, and what's the actual name?
Foreign affairs and foreign trade.
Foreign affairs and foreign trade. Yes. And foreign trade. Yes. Wonderful. Well, Ms. McClean, before you leave, there's one topic I want us to something that happened in the house today. And Dave, can you get that video for me? So there is something happened in the house with the Speaker of the House. Did you see that, Ms. McClean?
No, I didn't watch today's proceedings.
Okay. So earlier today, the Speaker of the House had to chastise members of Parliament for arriving late to the chamber when the sitting was supposed to resume, right?
Yes,
and he made a very telling remark. He said that there appears to be a chronic problem with time. Dave, you have it ready? Yes. Let's play it, Dave. Go right ahead.
He said in his, I wonder if honorable members' watches are synchronized to the right time. I believe that honorable members' watches seem not to be synchronized. So we were supposed to start back at 2:30, but it seems that 2:30 is 2:40. I was just wondering aloud and wondering if when some husbands go out and their spouses ask them to return on time, that when they do get in late, that they have a veritable excuse. I believe so because we seem to have a chronic problem with doing things on time. And I would suggest that honorable members did a whole picture called "And Justice for All." I would suggest that you should really watch it and see the importance of time.
No, knowing me, Miss McClean, you know, I went and I realized that this was. Am I muted?
No, go ahead.
I realized that this was not just a casual moment, you know. the Speaker of the House, from what I went and did a little research, although I had some idea, but he's there to guard the parliamentary order, right? And he's admitting that punctuality and discipline are becoming a recurring problem because he said it's a chronic problem in time inside the nation's highest. This is supposed to be the highest decision-making institution, right? And he's saying that this, there is a chronic problem with time. Remember that this is where the laws are made, right? And where hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money is supposed to be debated on and approved. So I could see why for him this was not he I guess it was not a casual moment because it seemed to have been something recurring. And I remember you, Miss McClean, you've been talking about, sometimes you watch Parliament and you don't even see anybody there. You want to jump right in, Miss McClean?
Yeah, but you're correct. There are a couple of things here. I'll start with the last point. Frequently, when I watch Parliament, I count to see if there's a quorum.
Mhm.
And if you go and you check the start of most sittings of Parliament, the House meets at 10 o'clock. Rarely do you see them starting before 10:30.
Mhm.
And that's no, and in a case like this where the estimates is the debate stretches over multiple days, you suspend sitting. It is not adjourned. And when you suspend, because it's treated like a continuous sitting, you're supposed to be there to start on time. And in fact, if a certain amount of time elapses and you're not there, the whole thing could be brought to an end. So I recognize that when you look around the room, and I'll watch and you'll see it happen. There's scarcely anybody in Parliament. The situation again, we talk about the contribution of Mr. Thorne. It was, and you would notice that numbers start to increase, but not only that, not only is there a problem of tardiness, there is a lack of preparation and a refusal of a number of people to speak on serious issues. We had a constitutional amendment the other day, was it?
Yes.
Go and see how many people to appoint him as that was the one with that was independent speak. There was something that happened right away recently about the crossing of the floor.
Yeah, amendment of the Constitution.
Check and see how many people spoke on the matter. They treat it, I mean, it is as though Parliament is, a place to go and hang out. You get there when you get, and it's no big deal. So I think it has reached the point where it probably is embarrassing because the public, you would expect that more people might be watching this, although I suspect the numbers, I think you said so, that the numbers are falling, that you're not seeing the kind of numbers that we saw in the past.
Correct. But no, Dave, if you can put it back there, Dave, for a little bit, so people will know what we're dealing with. I'm also hearing something, and the speaker again, I guess we'll have to answer, because if the speaker is independent, I'm wondering should the speaker be at cabinet meetings? I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking the question. Should the speaker? I'm just a question I'm asking. Should the speaker be?
A speaker does not attend cabinet meetings. Should not.
Oh, you should say should not. But let's moving quite along. Let's continue to deal with this speaker here trying to seem independent. And that's my comment. Now, the speaker made mention, right, of a film called All Justice for All. And I went to do a little research on the film that he was speaking of there, and you can do it in your own time. The film has a courtroom drama scene starring Al Pacino, and the film is famous for exposing a legal system that becomes chaotic and dysfunctional, culminating in the explosive courtroom line. Listen to it, the courtroom line, Ms. McClean and viewers. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order. Now, this is what the speaker is sending those 30 to go and watch this movie called Justice for All. And the courtroom drama there starring Al Pacino. And this is an explosive legal scene there in the courtroom. And a line says, "You are out of order. The whole trial is out of order." In other words, he's saying, Ms. McClean, when institutions lose discipline, like the Parliament, the system itself begins to look out of order.
It gets out of order. Things fall apart.
Fall apart, right? And as you said, Miss Thorne would allude to it all the time, that, they're not present, right? So there's just indiscipline, it seems to us, looking on. And here the Speaker of the House is agreeing with that. And it definitely underscores some of what Mr. Thorne was speaking about, because he was saying that he would just see small numbers of members present in the chamber, and a lot of us, as you said, we're at home and we're watching, and this is what we're seeing. So we're seeing late sittings. They're coming back late. They have lunch and they sit around and chat. They have the people's business. You imagine, this is the estimates. We're talking about millions and millions and millions and millions. This ministry alone, we're looking at $96 million being discussed in Parliament, and you can't arrive. It's just a walk, isn't it? Just a walk from the lunchroom to the inside the house, Miss McClean.
Yes, it's all in the same complex. You come upstairs and it's all inside. And the point is, even if they have to leave the premises, when you're supposed to resume, you leave in time to get there for the beginning. And that was something that I always try to impress on when I was in leader government business in Senate. We're supposed to start at a particular time. We need to do that, because otherwise the public would question how serious you are about their business. And particularly, as I said, a sitting like this, where it goes over multiple days, etc. You need to get back and continue. And then you also have public officers waiting on you. So it's about also disrespecting the time of others.
Are we giving the business of governing this country the seriousness, the discipline that it deserves? Is basically what it is. And I thought, after looking up the movie that he referenced, I thought that it would be good to share this little clip tonight. And I'm glad that I could have gotten a chance to do it with you. Well, thank you so much, Ms. McClean.
Well, thank you
for joining.
We will speak again, and we will see again.
Yes.
I will continue to listen to the show as it goes on this evening, and we'll talk after the show, probably tomorrow morning, because you may be tired when the show is finished.
Yes, depending. I'll probably give you a call.
Okay, take care. And as usual, I appreciate the opportunity to share with Barbadians, because a lot of people continue to call and ask me to express their thanks for what you're doing. So the odd person who makes nonsensical comments, they're free to do that. And to plug the ears and everything. So, all right.
Yes, I just don't listen. All right. Okay. Thank you, Miss McClean. Thank you so much. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, Lord. Somebody says a poor Reiki is a poor Reiki. I think you want to say Parliament. This is, this is crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, folks, we're getting ready to open up the line. Oh, it's 9:04. but give me 5 minutes to ask a question. Dave, you have the picture there. You have a picture of Steve Blackett? Yeah, if you can put up a picture of Steve Blackett, because I have a question I have to ask. And the only reason I'm asking, I mean, a man has to eat. If he has to eat, he has to eat. I'm not against anybody getting a work. And in Jamaica, we say eat a food. I'm not against that at all. The reason I'm asking that is because we are asking questions of the government, of those in opposition, of everybody. We're asking questions, right? And I would like to know, on behalf of the people of Barbados, Mr. Steve Blackett, we saw that you brought, you are the General Secretary of a political party, thank you, Dave, of a political party called Freedom of Democracy. And sir, you have one of your actually the leader of the party, the president of the party, is also an opposition senator. So this is you with your party here. Okay, this is, I don't think this is the part, this is the party name, yeah? Okay, okay, yes, thank you. And what I want to ask you, sir, is, did you get a job with the government right after the elections? Because that matters. The same way that we're asking if the Electoral and Boundaries Commissioner, the same way we're concerned about that he was given a job right after elections. We would just like to know, in the spirit of accountability and transparency, there are people who voted for Friends of Democracy. So we just would like to know, sir, are you in what, is it true? That's all. I'm not here to pass any judgment or to well, not so much judgment, but to make any claims or to accuse anyone. But I'm asking you a question. And the reason I'm asking you a question, there are people who watch this show who sent it to me today to ask. They want to know, because some of them voted for Friends of Democracy. And they want to know, is it true? Are you guys one? Is it one? Are you one with the BLP? And did you get a job by the BLP government after the elections? If you did, because I don't know if you did. If you did, it almost begs the same question that we're asking the Electoral and Boundaries Commissioner. Under what circumstances are you being rewarded? If you got the job, are you being rewarded? Is that what it is? I don't know. I don't know if you got the job. And I don't know what, if you did, I don't know what it's for. So I'm asking you. And this question is I'm asking you because I think it's important in the name of transparency and accountability, which I heard you guys talked a lot about in your campaign. Is that so? Right? And is it so that we will know how we're going to deal with the oppositional senator that is presented to us? You make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Anybody out there? Because some people are saying that the party was formed to target the margins of the DLP. That's what Carol is saying there. And so, you know, and I know I saw you, I saw him right up front at the BLP ceremonies on February 16th. So I don't know what's in the man's heart. He might just wanted to have gone and, you know, you know, we'll see. Somebody says my question sounds silly. Well, you know what? It's okay to ask silly questions. It's fine. You might think it is silly. You might think it is silly, but it is very important. Yeah, it is very important. The question is very important. It's a question. And questions are made to be asked, my dear. Yeah, very important. Very important. Well, we've asked a question, and let's hope that either he will respond or sometime in the future, because we're a small country, we will know. Right? Right? Okay? Because I don't know, it can be a silly question where people who voted for FOD sent that to me. There are people who voted for you guys, you know. And so they're concerned right now. Look at this here. Right? Yes, it will come out. And if it's not so, then it's not so. That all of that will come out. Yeah, very much so. All right. Yes, I think so too. It's an important question. All right. Yes, time will tell. Yeah. Somebody said the political analysts, is that what they said, that they targeted the marginal seats and prevented the DLP from winning about 3 to 4 seats? Wow. Wow. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell. You know, time will tell. But Dave, I didn't give you this picture, but it's a picture. Did I send that to you? I think I did, where they're thanking the DLP, is thanking Mr. Thorne. Did you see that? Yeah. Okay, there is a picture. Anybody has it, of the DLP thanking Mr. Thorne? Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to, we acknowledge that Mr. Thorne has tendered his resignation. So you can put up a picture with Mr. Thorne, Dave. Right? Yeah. Mr. Thorne has tendered his resignation to the Democratic Labour Party as president, and he continues as a member of the party. And tonight, yes, thank you. He has resigned as the president of the Democratic Labour Party. And Mr. Thorne was president for almost a year, I think. While he was leader of the opposition for 2 years, he became president in the second year of that, when they had their general council, or the convention that they normally have, and that's where he was. It was, nobody actually even contested it. Everybody agreed he should be the president of the party. And tonight, I want us to reflect on the work of Mr. Thorne as president. We have the line is open. Yes, that's what I said. He has not left the party. He has resigned as president. Okay. And VR said the party needs Mr. Thorne. Okay. What we want to do is let's reflect on the work of Mr. Thorne. But I think that before we can reflect properly on the work of Mr. Thorne, I am a person who I like foundations, and I like to go back and give the jacket and give the people their flowers, right? And I want to talk about the president before Mr. Thorne, who led the DLP into elections, the 2022 elections, and that was Miss Berla de Pisa. Now, I want to just say something here that Mr. Pisa, she is a very unique woman, I tell you, a very unique woman, and is somebody that I respect a lot. Why I respect her so much? Like a typical woman, she went in there right after the party had, their first 30 love. She went in there afterwards. And when big men like Chris Sinckler ran away, and the same, one that is now there, Lashley, was nowhere to be found. When these people ran away, Berla de Pisa went and picked up the pieces of that party with her team, with a lot of young people. And she was successful in presenting a team of candidates, not 25, not 20, not 15 candidates, but 30 candidates for the 22 elections. We must not forget that. That's not an easy feat. And I tell you, she went through a lot of humiliation by Barbadians for doing that. Do we remember? Let me just let you pause and remember that. Remember what Berla de Pisa went through. And not just with the people outside, but even some of those men that ran away. And so I commend Berla de Pisa this evening. And what is good about it is that, yes, you had a president in between there, but there were lots of issues with that president. And I'm specifically talking about the presidents who led the party into an election. You had two presidents that did that, Berla de Pisa and RALPH Thorne. And I want to say that RALPH Thorne came and built on what Berla de Pisa had done in terms of preparing the candidates and choosing the candidates. You saw Mr. Dujon on here tonight. So this woman here needs to get her flowers. And this woman here continues to be a member of the DLP, and not just a member, but an active member. You saw her at the campaign, the last campaign. She was all over it, and a fantastic speaker. That's the quality that they have in that party. Now, this woman is top shelf. She's top shelf. And Mr. Thorne came and built on that in terms of candidates and so on. Quality, solid candidates. And all they were going through, he was still able to produce 30 strong candidates. Candidates who were going through training every Saturday morning. And when you look, I mean, it's just amazing to me what has been done. And I'm seeing something David sent me here. I don't know what this is. This is you sent me, Dave. You can explain what this is about. Unity and renewal. You can explain for me. Yeah. Now, very good. Now, Patricia, we are segueing now into Mr. Thorne, but I love to give people, I love to us to recognize the foundation that was laid, and then we are now moving to the next one, because the next president, it was totally rocky, and you know, was a lot of issues there, and he didn't lead the people to elections, and so that's how I am looking at it. You might see it differently, but that's how I'm looking at it. All right. What are some of the accomplishments in your mind? Some of you might not even be, like myself, a member of the DLP, but you're watching the progress of the DLP. Since Mr. Thorne crossed, went into the DLP, what are some of the areas that you see progress in? Anybody? Somebody says they love Thorne as a leader. He has integrity. In what? Explain. How did you know he had integrity? Call. Can you call in, Vihoy? The number is 236-7000. Let's talk about this tonight. 236-7000. See? 236-7000. The Democratic Labour Party expresses immense gratitude to our friend and comrade RALPH Thorne for his leadership, representation, and courage to stand up for us all in the party and the country. We look forward to his contributions as we continue to renew, refresh, and build. Yes? Anybody, the phone is open, the line is there. The line is there. Somebody says I need to write a book about Mr. Thorne and what he had to endure from the BLP party. It's a great idea. From my viewpoint, you know, it is a great idea. A great idea, to be honest. Somebody says Mr. Thorne never compromises spirituality. So it's 9:22, folks. Somebody said they chose Barbados over Jesus. Okay, so we understand all of that. I'm talking about what are some of the, in your mind, looking on. Somebody talk about integrity. Okay, Marva says he has integrity. Yeah, okay, we have a caller. Hi, caller. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Good night.
Good night. Please turn down your device. Turn down the device you're listening. You're listening on, or turn it off, and let's just stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night. Please turn down your device. Turn down the device you're listening, or turn it off.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Thank you for calling.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I feel Tosh is still there forever. And he's a good person and he do a good job. And the last time Tom, I think, was there, he did a real good job.
Well,
Good morning.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, please.
No, I was going to ask you in what way, but you started to tell me, so I realized that. So go right ahead.
Well, he did something from a good heart across the floor and let us know what's going on in the country. We never know what's going on in the country till he crossed the floor. He crossed the floor to see us but a lot of things was going on. We never knew till now he crossed the floor. Mr. Thorne is a good man, a great man, and a wonderful person. Every morning, I see him, I shout at him when out there working on the garbage truck. You know who the body is, the bottom of the body is. Every morning I shout him. He just hit the horn and he's go. I can watch him, but he's taking on the president. Tonight will be me and the VIP. The transfer is okay with me. If you move up, no, I will let you come back in.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. And you say you see him in the mornings on the garbage truck. So you're on the garbage truck, you see him and you shout him and he blows the horn.
Yes, please.
Yes, yes. And
yes, please. No, I don't want to.
no, I was asking you specifically, did you listen to the speeches and so on?
I went to the meetings, everything. I went to St. John, everything.
Everything. Well, caller, thank you so much for calling. We have another call on the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a pleasant and wonderful good night.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia. Good night to Miss Maxine McClean. Listen, today, I got to call it today in Grenada history, and not Barbados, today in Barbados history. Winchester Humphrey was the Speaker of the Grenada House of Representatives, or the same thing, of Parliament. When they come late, they get put out, and they will not be paid. So if they come at 10, two things, they get put out, or they won't get paid for the whole entire sitting. I think that's the way we should go. That's the way we should go. I didn't expect to call this early, but listen to the budgets, what's going on in the House now. You know, the lot of rhetoric that was going on during the election. You know, they call it the meetings, the propaganda, the things on the social media, the covenant of hope, the covenant of hopelessness, the manifestos, the T-shirt, all this advertising. Listen to what going on. I remember Patrick Goller always say, release month. But I don't feel in this budget that coming up, that I ain't see nothing that we can get released of. The only release I know I feel I can get is very good in the funeral and the priest deliver us from better pains and eternal death. Hoping that this war will escalate and prices go up again. But what he's saying, the figures, the numbers, I see you there show up just now. I don't see there's no ease up in this here. Just ask God to let us deliver us from better pains and eternal death. And if the unions decide to give us $20 raise increase, read the scriptures. I'll be member of Jezebel. To have a way to give me $20 today is Wednesday. And come Saturday, she can wear 50 from me. And you know who that person is. We know who that person is. And the people in the police tell me who that person is. And they also tell me in the police that person could take milk out of coffee or extract milk out of coffee.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. But thank you. But let me ask you something before you go. Thank you for your contribution. Before you go, let me ask you. RALPH Thorne, he has resigned as president, but he still remains a member of the Democratic Labour Party. Tonight we are reflecting on his work as president.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh, listen, tell you what gonna be. I know that we hear what happened. Tell him remain in the party, be a spokesman. You got DLP TV, you got ours, you got all kind of media together. Tell you what gonna be.
Well, he's not leaving the party. He's staying in the Democratic Labour Party.
You tell me, they tell me stay with the party, be a spokesman, be a powerhouse. And when you see something going wrong, you love it. I don't want that. You're not today with by the car. You know about you see at the night. When you come up the hill and make the right turn, we had this spot meeting there.
Mm-hmm.
I tell one of the supporters of the red shirt people, I see what the boss gone and do. I find caught by the armor citizen. He's a backbencher. Backbencher pay is not like the people in front line that got a ministry. You know that he could cross the floor, become the leader of the opposition. I say, yeah, someone to lead a dictator. You're going to lead a do to you? Cut your throat. She tells you she's going to do it. And they said they called from the time she said so, as the last vote count, and the last seat declared, I will jump ship. You know that I keep on preaching this, I keep on preaching it. It looks to me like go back to the days. And you could have said, be a one man running thing, but wait. One man? That ain't something right to me.
No, not at all.
One man calling all the shots. You could have said so. One man running thing,
running. Well, thank you so much for calling, because I have like about 3 callers we're trying to get through, and it's one phone, one line. So yes.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. Always good to hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless. Thank you. Yes. All right, guys. Those of you who were calling before, feel free to call. Feel free to call now. Somebody said Mr. Thorne mentored the young candidates. And don't forget, I mean, when you talk about DLP TV, we talk about young candidates. We got introduced. That was such a brilliant idea that occurred under his tenure, where the DLP TV was used to introduce us to the candidates. Wasn't that amazing? So we knew all about Fanos before Fanos was announced as a candidate. Take him, for example, right? We knew about him before. Okay, there's a call coming in. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hey, good night, Miss Weeks. How are you, Mom?
I am doing well. Thank you for calling.
Yes, it is a top-notch program tonight, Miss Weeks. I can say a few of the things here.
Yes, thank you.
I can say a few of the things here. Right? A few of the things I can say here just now. And I hang up. You see you more money like these people up there taking away and there's a lot of money. These people like such a thing. Canadian farm workers and the people working in Canada on farm labor program. Miss McClean, that's all we money that they take away. They will not give you exchange rate for money. They tell you that we go to pay them 5% or 25% remittance that you have to stand home here. And Miss McClean, the way they take it out, they get 20%. That is all the wickedness that is going on. Everything coming to light now. Everything is coming to light. We'll be blind. We'll be workers blind. And now everything is coming to light. All these days, Miss McClean, Miss Weeks, I can bring some papers up, but you know, show you what is going on.
Yes, yes, you should give me a call tomorrow.
Blind.
So you're talking about the
Miss McClean, that there, you know about it. The rubber's blind. Thank you, Miss McClean. Thank you, Mom.
Yes, yes. She's not on at the moment, but she's listening. So this, just want to make sure. Let me ask. This is the farm workers program.
Yeah, in Canada, also in America. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The unfairest, Miss McClean.
Okay.
The unfairest.
Wow.
But we're not giving you the exchange rate of our money, and the 5% that we're taking out. The way they're taking it out, it was supposed to be 20. Let me explain this to you. I work in Canada, all right, and the week I get $400.
Yes.
The farmers are going to be $100 from that at 25% remittance. Send it to lesser service. Send it to our government workers up there. They're supposed to take 5% from that, which is their 5% supposed to run the board up there to say, but they're not going to run the board. They're not going to run the board up there because the government gave them the money to run the board up there, but yet they still trying to take the money from us. But what they're doing, they're looking at the growth and they're taking them the 5% from the growth. So they're getting they're getting $20, rather more than $5 you should get. And these things that have been going on for years. And although we tell we went to ministers and all that, show them what's going on, we are right, but today they will not give back the money forward. But no, everything coming up to like how would they doing to me? Yes. Everything coming to like right? Exchange rate, exchange rate, we're supposed to do exchange rate. And then we paying taxes in Canada and we paying taxes in Barbados. When there's a double tax treaty between Barbados and Canada, that we shouldn't be doing those things. And then no, we shouldn't be doing those things.
Well, give me a call tomorrow. Give me a call tomorrow, most definitely. Give me a call. I've been taking as much notes as possible, but give me a call. Let me ask you something. You have any words for Mr. Thorne? He is, he's resigned as president and still remain a member of the Democratic Labour Party. Any thoughts you want to say to him?
I say that he'll attempt to do an excellent job. It's an excellent job, and it's a shame to see that what they would do just not to get a pension. Just not to get a pension. That is unfair again. Too much wickedness in this their place, and that would decide that across this country. You see them, Miss McClean? I mean, Miss Leaks. You see that across the wrong Barbados? Yes. Too much wickedness in this their place, man. That man should have get the man going Senate and they get the pension and all that.
Well, I mean, truthfully, I'm being told that he from lawyers are telling me that he got his pension. So Mr. Thorne is not going to be doing that for the pension, and that's not the kind of person that he is, I know in the hands of man, but it's just recognize the same thing they do to Mr. Franklin. When as anybody got them, then question them and things, the call election, get rid of them. Yeah, these things is nonsense. Yeah. Well, we'll continue talking tomorrow. Let me take this other call. Thank you so much for calling. Okay. Thank you.
That's all.
Yes. Yes. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Good evening, Marcia. I am a little bit tired, but I have to really talk about Mr. Thorne.
Yes. And can I tell them that this is V-High? Can I say that? I already said it.
Of course you can say that.
This is V-High. This is V-High. We love you, V-High. We love hearing you.
The caller said something. He said something about the pension. And I will tell you, the Mr. Thorne that I have met here in New York City, that's not who Mr. Thorne is. Mr. Thorne is very driven by Barbados. He's very driven by the people in Barbados, and he cares deeply for the people in Barbados. I do not think that a pension is something that he even thought about or something that he even considers. And no disrespect to the caller, but I find it very insulting that a lot of people think that the reason why Mr. Thorne is doing this job or the reason he wanted to be elected is because of a pension. To me, that is lazy thinking. I want to say to Mr. Thorne, I am extremely, extremely disappointed. I'm going to be very clear that when I heard that he was stepping down from the party, I got very emotional because this party needs Mr. Thorne. Barbados needs Mr. Thorne right now. I have my opinions on this. I think that the Barbadian public, I think that the media, I think that government has been very, they were bullies in terms of how they treated Mr. Thorne. right? They say things about him, they call him names. I mean, it was just horrible. I mean, there were times that I would read the comments and I would just walk away from it because it was just very jarring the way that they talked about him. So Mr. Thorne, to me, I think that he brings seniority to the party. He brings experience. He brings gravitas to the party. He brought values that we see very lacking in political life in Barbados at this moment. Think about it. Mr. Thorne was the only person who declared his assets. And he made it very clear that if you came into the party with nothing, you were not going to leave rich. And I think that a lot of people hate that because we have party politicians in Barbados right now that we have to wonder where the hell did they get the assets from, because the money that they make does not support the assets that they have, you know, and we have to question that. And Mr. Thorne made it very clear on DLP TV that that was not going to happen under his leadership and under his guidance. So my rhetorical questions, and this is for the president of Barbados, who gives you the right to choose who should represent the DLP? I don't think that the person that we have there right now should be the person representing the party because he wasn't voted as president of the party. And I don't think that he's going to bring a voice that speaks to the people of Barbados, that speaks for the people of Barbados. And I am very, very disappointed that the president of Barbados would choose who we would have elected or chosen to represent the DLP and the people of Barbados. He does not have that right, and he should not have that right. He is not the spokesman for the BLP. He speaks for the DLP. He speaks for the BLP. So my thing is, that is my concern. The DLP is a separate entity, and no one outside of the DLP should decide when and who represents them in Parliament.
But caller, if I could just say it to you that one of the things I found out though, if you look at the present law, we could always lobby for the law to be changed. But the truth is though that it is his right to choose based on the law. You see, the Constitution. If you read it carefully,
you're saying to me that he has a right to handpick who speaks for the people of Barbados, that he has a right to go into the DLP and decide that he's going to choose one person over the next.
No, I don't agree with it, but I'm telling you that when you look at the way the law is written, it is his choice to make.
Well, I think that the people of Barbados then needs to stand up, because that should not be the case, because right now what we're seeing is a one-sided government. We cannot say that the people in Parliament right now are independent. That word independent is a joke because none of them are independent. Did you see anybody get up during these estimates and have a conversation that says, I don't really agree with you and let's talk about what is happening right now? We're not really seeing that, right? Everybody is sitting down like logs and just talking. So right now, we need voices like Mr. Thorne. And if that is the rule on the book, then they must be a way to change that rule, because he should not have that power to decide, you know, who is going to sit down and represent the people of Barbados. Because right now, there's no representation, right? Think about it. And I'm saying this to all the people on your show right now. A one-sided government benefits no one except those who want no scrutiny. Okay, and that's where we are right now.
Thank you. Thanks for your comment. And that's a voice coming out of the diaspora, somebody who loves Barbados.
Thank you so much, Marcia.
And loves the show.
I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we love you, Vihoy.
Have a good evening.
Good evening. God bless. Well, there you have it. We have another caller here. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Blessed good night. I am in total agreement with Vihoy.
Yes.
My friend. But listen though, there is a part in scriptures that talks about, I think it's in Matthew 12:43 to 45, and talks about when a evil spirit, unclean spirit is cast out of a person, it tells you what happens. The spirit goes about in dry places, seeking rest and such. Like, anyhow, interesting things there is that it came back to the place where it was cast out from and found the place empty, sweat, and garnish. Now, my point is, in saying all this, is that it is a very dangerous thing to leave something empty. All right? Anything can walk in. There are some empty spaces that needs to be filled. There is an empty space of opposition leader. We have been left with empty spaces of unanswered questions, because up to now, hope. Those are empty spaces that are left, and we had some person kind of like filling in the gaps to cause answers to come forward, but we now have an empty space. Now, it's never easy to stand up for the voiceless, and what is even worse is that after you have stood up for the voiceless and you look back, there's nobody actually there to stand for you.
Right.
Everybody now has gone silent when the dust settles. Now, we have this thing that when the people lose their fear, they lose their power. But I want to turn this around now. What about when the people fear? When the people fear, they then start to lose their power. And I believe that is exactly what is happening in this season. But there's too much empty spaces left. And I believe that they can't be left for too long. They must be filled. And that's my thing for tonight.
Well, I know you're speaking in parables, but listening to there was a newscast that came out this morning, I think, or late last night, where what they're saying is that they're going to fill that position at the DLP. DLP is an organization that's been around over 70 years, and so they have their own constitution and rules. It didn't just start, and so there are provisions for situations like this. I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be left empty. I mean, we're yet to all wait and see. But based on the fact that it's a 70-year-old institution, I don't see where it will be left empty. If you follow me.
Okay. All right, Marcia. I'm not so much speaking of an empty space left in the DLP. I am speaking of mostly Parliament, because
I see. Yes, I understand you now. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Yes.
Right. There's no opposition leader. There is no one to stand up and say such and such and such to go up against the tide.
Yes, understood. Yes, you're right.
The first unanswered questions to be answered. So all those in favor is just saying I. Everybody's saying I. And this is a very serious thing, and I think that we need to make sure that this empty space is filled, because according to that part of scripture, what happens was that 7 more spirits, more wicked, came in. And the latter part was worse.
Yeah.
So I think that we should make sure this part is filling before we feel the real pinch of what's supposed to happen. That's my thing.
Yes. Well, thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The Marcia Week Show. Give us a call. What's on your mind? 236-7000. We are also talking about the resignation Mr. Thorne as president of the Democratic Labour Party, though he still remains a member. And we have another caller. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Good night, Marcia. This
Good
is
night.
the days I'm public calling. I have two queries.
Yes.
One query, and I'll make a statement on Mr. Thorne. I think that Mr. Thorne should take a vote. And I don't say that lightly.
Why?
I really think that he should take a vote.
Why?
Because he's one, a man of honor that stood by his word. Two, he is not the only person that, we are not the only person that would have recognized it. Because if the present party and the other parties could have come together along with everybody else to gang up against one man, that says a lot about the man. That says a whole lot. That they would rather stifle and push truth, integrity, honor in a corner where they carry on their duty. As Mr. Blackett would have said on the outset of his campaigning, he wanted to become the opposition. That was his aim, which means his aim was to get rid of Mr. Thorne. So he could easily join the BLP and get rid of Mr. Thorne. Now, as far as the DLP is concerned, I think that they don't look at or hear about, listen to what the public generally is saying. And when I say the public, I mean like the other political opponents. But listen to their own conscience. Listen to their own conscience. Look at what they would have seen on display for the last 2.5 years, and then make a judgment. Should they accept Mr. Thorne's resignation? Do not believe the rhetoric that he led them in a 30-0 love for the third time. That is a lie. He only represented them this last election in that loss. Not only that, Mr. Thorne, in my book, and the members of the DLP did not lose the 2025 election, 2026 election. It was stolen away from them. They did not lose it. They ran, in my opinion, an honest campaign. I can't say the same for the one that won or supposedly won, because too much money was passed around to get votes. So it wasn't that they won, that it was stolen. So, but time will tell, because God is a God of justice.
Yes.
And he will always make sure that justice comes out on top. Second query. This Bajan public wants to know, because I listened to the show on Monday. The school meal, the money that was designated for the school meals.
Yes, ma'am.
You said it was reduced by 2 million, correct?
Yes, correct.
And we had all types of comments in terms of maybe they might feed each other ramen, maybe they found ways in which race this was happening, etc., etc. But it was reduced. But lo and behold, now the minister is saying they are going to provide breakfast for all the students come September in primary school. Now, with a reduced budget, that we ensure what kind of meal children will be eating. Now, to add another meal on top of that, which is breakfast. On this reduced budget, what's going on there? This Bajan public need to know how he's going to get that work, because I would like to work that out too. Because my pocket in agree with it. But if he could get it work, I would like for him to come and tell me how, so that I too can work it for myself.
Yeah, it's a good. I've been thinking about that for today, the entire day. But I was now on to foreign affairs and foreign trade. But it's something I'm going to go back and look at, because they have to tell us the how, and that's what Mr. Thorne would have been doing inside of Parliament. We're not going to get the how, people. We're not going to know, when they waste money or they misuse money and all of that? How are we going to know? How are we going to know? We don't even have an auditor general.
Unless they go in and say they want to borrow money because they don't have enough. Because as far as I heard, they said that the climate, they have to now go look for money outside the climate change scheme, because the US doesn't support it, and a lot of the entities that support climate change. So they have to go look for money elsewhere. So where you going to look for money? Well, you need to borrow more money, and you've been borrowing money, and so much of it for the last 2 years.
Yes.
I don't understand the math. I was not good at math, but somebody need to help me, because I would like to implement some of these methods so that you can at least have a better pocket. Not sure.
Yeah.
That's the question. The Bajan public. This Bajan public is
Bajan public wants to know how. The how.
Yes.
Well, thank you. We're going to keep asking the question on your behalf. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good
Great
night.
contribution. Thank you. Yes. That was a great contribution, folks. I know some of you were calling, but call back, right? Somebody wrote here, and we're not going to call your name. They said, RALPH Thorne did not have to cross the floor, but made the selfless decision to cross the floor and challenge the BLP openly on a number of the wrongs that had been handed out to the Barbadian public. He's definitely a man of integrity, identifying and speaking on the various conflicts of interest. The whole project, the irregularities in the electoral process, the lack of integrity legislation, and his constant acknowledgement of the Lord our God. I believe the country has missed a golden opportunity, and over time they will realize that the issues this honorable gentleman has highlighted will be confirmed as truth. The terrible remarks that have been made against this gentleman is awful. May God keep and strengthen him. This is from an unknown. They don't want their name to be known, but I thought that's very well written. Yes. He stood on principles and values, and that's a true leader right there. Yes. Yes. Okay, guys, we still have some time. We have 3 minutes, and those of you who did not get through, we only have one line at the moment until we get blessed and we move on up to 2-3 lines. Can you imagine when we have that? But feel free to call. We'll still take at least one more call while we wait. Okay, somebody, right. I'm glad that you were able to call back. Good night and welcome. Yes, welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia. Good night to the loyal opposition.
Yes.
Just like your last caller, because I am not able to see what you all were speaking about, but I gathered it was pertaining to our former president. I also agree that Comrade RALPH Thorne has nothing to feel no kind of way about. Had it not been for him, the country and a lot of us would not have been exposed and know a lot of things on the goings on inside, not only of the parliament, inside of the current administration. So I think he should take a bow seriously. He has done a lot. He has put everything out on the line for the people of Barbados. And if he is hearing this Marcia Week show, I, Bascom, want to continue to encourage him to stay strong with the Democratic Labour Party, stay strong for the people of Barbados, because people enough respect him for everything he has done. And despite all the disrespect that's being loaded on him, everything that we know that has been done to try to demean a good man's character, okay? Don't take that on. No weapon formed against him shall prosper. Just needs to remember that piece of Bible scripture. No weapon formed against him shall prosper, but all the enemies that rise against shall fall. Just I want him to remember that. For Marcia, the same goes for you. All the enemies that go against you shall fall. Let's just keep on making noise and keep advocating for the voices out there.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, God
Fitting
bless
as
you,
the
Marcia.
last call. Thank you so much. Yes. Well, folks, wow, we had a very full night, and I tell you, I'm grateful for the work of Mr. Thorne, and I just, somebody said I probably just need to document my version of his journey, and how it impacted me. I wouldn't be able to write. I can't write his biography, but I could write how it impacted me. That's something I will look at. I look at that because it really did impact me in a very positive way. And I can say, that Mr. Thorne, you have done an amazing job. And I'm using the word amazing. It seems so cliche, but a very difficult job. And you went into a very difficult situation. And to see the kind of events you guys were able to pull off during the campaign, this amazed me. I stood there and I just thought of what the party was like 2 years ago, and to see what they were able to accomplish, and the quality of the candidates, and the camaraderie among the candidates. The DLP TV is something that came to light underneath, or came to life underneath your tenure, Mr. Thorne. And you did a great job as a host, I must say. I hope you would continue hosting on the DLP TV, and I really do hope that you would, that you would know that the impact. Do you know what it is to provide a forum for young people to, sit there with you and discuss their ideas? Do you know that helps to strengthen them as good candidates? They're able to speak out their ideas and to get it discussed, and to see the comments from people builds their confidence. And so there's a whole set of young people inside there, Mr. Thorne, that I saw you mentoring and building. And that is tremendous. That is tremendous that you have done that. And you ought to take a bow. You did well. You did very well. And we appreciate you, and you've put up with a lot of nonsense, and Barbados is is the worst for it. You're not here, not in Parliament as you are there now. Oh my goodness, they would be so nervous to go into Parliament because you're a fearless man. And and I will tell you this, that there's nothing that, I'll tell people this ahead of time. I will support who is there with the DLP at the moment. I will support them, but I want to let everybody know, I'm not, your story and your narrative is not going to change my understanding of who Mr. Thorne is, okay? And I've always supported him with my chest. All up in here. I've lost friends for supporting Mr. Thorne, yes. I've lost friends, I've lost acquaintances. People thought that I was, I'm being crazy too. But I know what I know. And Dave and I, we are full supporters of Mr. Thorne. Whether it is, as somebody said, that people are not understanding the difference, realize that the president and the political leader of the DLP are one and the same. I don't know. I think that people understand that. People hear you. Anybody here, is this viewer right? That some people don't realize that the president and the political leader of the DLP are one and the same. I didn't hear that tonight, but I might be wrong. But if you didn't know, they're one and the same. There was a time when Mr. Thorne had crossed over, he was not yet voted in as president, and he was only political leader for about a year. Remember that? And then because we had an acting president in who was a very fine young man, Andre, right, who then became a senator. Andre, what's his last name, Dave? Andre Worrell. And Senator Andre Worrell, he was the deputy president for the year that Mr. Thorne was the political leader. So there was that time where there was the separation there, but generally speaking, it's in one. So the latter part of Mr. Thorne's journey, he was both the political leader and the president, right? Yeah. And so somebody here says Mr. Thorne was a dynamic politician who brought a reality to Bajan politics. Correct. Yeah. Folks, you're right, Pedro. If you don't lose friends, you won't realize who's with you. Yeah. So yeah. Very much so. Very much so. I don't regret it at all. I stand on truth, and I could stand alone. I could stand alone, but I believe I'm standing on truth. That's what it is. And I don't need friend and company to stand alone. I support Mr. Thorne, and I tell people, don't come to me with that stupid narrative that you want to bring to me. You are wasting your breath. All right, and that has nothing to do with me. Whatever, I'm not a member of the DLP. Whatever they do inside there, whoever is now the president, will support that person as a president until I see something else. All right, I will support that person, but it does not take away my respect for Mr. Thorne. You don't have that power to do that. All right, yeah. So let's leave that there. Okay. Thank you all for watching. This is where we end tonight. It's 10:06. Some of you are asking for Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob has been missing in action. He's MIA, like another MIA. No, he's in the island, but he's working with our young people. They have sports. I'm hoping to go there with him on Friday or Saturday. They're about to do a Mike on the Move with the young people. So I'm looking forward to that, Mr. Bob. I'm actually looking forward to that Mike on the Move. I love athletics. All right. God bless you. And Mr. Thorne, wherever you are, just know that you are loved. You are special. You know, take this time and relax a bit and sleep. Sleep, go to the beach, you know, with the family, go out and travel, have a good time and enjoy your life. You have given 2 wonderful years to Barbados. Hard, but you fought through it. And you have now left such a legacy that the others can come and stand on, just as the others did for you, left a legacy you could stand on. A girl like Miss Berla de Pisa, you know, I have grown to really respect that woman. And that's a woman for you. And she was there to support you as well, Mr. Thorne. God bless you all. I love you, Barbados. Thank you to Dave for the support, Miss McClean, coming on, Felicia Dujon for joining tonight. And we will see you. We will see you. Those of you who join prayer, we'll see you on Friday at prayer in the morning. But we will see you Friday for Friday's show. All right. God bless you. Love you.
No, but there can be no shared functions between a minister and the court. That is the point. And that is my point of departure from this legislation. It's a fundamental point of departure. I say again to you, sir, and I say to this country, that there's turbulence that afflicts the lives of the people in this country. People can't get to the supermarket and get a full basket of goods.
having to make sacrifices. People with children in this country are struggling, and this government is coming in here thumping the desk. Thumping the desk.
Outside, I would have said other things, but not with any negative language, because I don't curse anymore. I ask God to remove it.
You don't curse anymore?
No, sir. Otherwise, I would have cursed you, but I wouldn't do that.
No,
I so highly respect you.
I could point to certain members in here.
For those of you who wanted to know who RALPH THORNE really is, let's have a listen.
You have RALPH THORNE, an eminent Queen's Counsel, a man known for taking up the cases and causes of people who don't have a voice in this country, because he's in a position not just to speak as an eminent Queen's Counsel, but as a man who is deeply rooted in theology. How many of you know that RALPH has studied at Codrington College in theology?
Cases in Barbados where government could have dedicated to the storage of the boats. There are a number of them. I mean, you have playing fields all across Barbados, but as I say, in St. Vincent, I believe, the boats were hauled on to safe spaces, to firm ground, terra firma. Whereas in Barbados, we were busy applauding at Kensington when this government ought to have been identifying playing fields and open spaces across Barbados, protected open spaces. Yeah, they ought to have been identifying these spaces for the safe protection of those. And he can rise to his feet if I am misquoting him. He said to the media, and it was broadcast to the world, that the young university graduates, if they can't find work here, let them go. Let them go and look for work in St. Vincent, Dominica, or Belize. You can get vexed, honorable member for St. Thomas, but look, Your Honor, he said that. This is a gentleman, and I insist that he's a gentleman.
The honorable member is misleading the chamber. If the honorable, sorry, that's the point of order. If the honorable member wishes to quote me, let him quote. I'm not going to give him my words. Let him quote me exactly. I assure you, that was not what I said.
To do one of two things. Either go to the people now, or take the time and do a new constitution. So that I really must object today to this amendment coming at this time. Although I have in principle agreed with the Honorable Prime Minister privately and publicly that you need a speaker who is independent and impartial, please, my agreement extends to the wish that this ought to be done as part of larger constitutional reform within a larger amendment to the entire constitution.
Just days after former government just days after crossed the floor, he's taken the oath of office as leader of the opposition.
Cross the floor, let me do it some more like RALPH THORNE. RALPH THORNE. The other side. Cross the floor, cross the floor, cross the floor, let me do it some more like RALPH THORNE. Wait there, RALPH THORNE. Dancing come back again. Our turn is the latest trend.
And all,
link up my friend. This one designed to be
and more will be left over.
Dancing come back again. Our turn is the latest.
Are these trips so important?
Link up my friend. This one designed to be living our men.
Yes, I'm for real, member. I am for real. Don't let me talk out your business. Don't let me talk out your business. All right.
And I can't decide, so I'm moving with the die. Cause I'm ready to mash up the body. Oh gosh, I can mash up the body. So let me do this now. Cause I'm ready to mash up the body. Oh gosh, I can mash up the body. Yes, but let me go now. Cross the floor, cross the floor, cross the floor. Let me do it some more like RALPH THORNE. RALPH THORNE. On the other side, cross the floor.
There has to be some order here.
Cross the floor, let me do it some more like
The Minister of Finance is not party to this present transaction, Your Honor. Ask him to keep quiet, please. And I say to you further, Mr. Speaker, that my conscience, my location here is related to my conscience. I said it last year. It is well with my soul.
That is my man, so whether he cross or in cross, he will always be there for us.
I came to a point where I had to take the decision that if my philosophical and political views do not accord with those of government in terms of its legislation, in terms of its policy, the relationship becomes untenable.